right, guys, welcome back to another video. We have some things to talk about today, as usual, for your daily gaming news. And we will start off here talking about a brand new Xbox headset that is apparently going to be released this month, and we'll see more about it with this refresh. And it's the wireless Xbox headset. This comes via Bill Kuhn on X, who very good at the leaks, especially with the peripherals for Xbox. Generally gets these right, lets us know when the new Xbox controller is coming out before it is released, because I mean they release controllers all the time, but we get kind of a sneak peek as to what those are before the actual announcement. It looks like for the Xbox wireless headset, it will get a refresh very soon. Puts out this posting: upcoming release, Xbox wireless headset will get a refresh very soon. We reveal everything we know, including pricing, release date, and this new refresh in our latest Dead Labs magazine report. And what this is going to be is that it is going to cost an extra $10 when it launches in October 22nd in Europe and November 5th in the US. And the changes to this headset, besides the price bump, and one of the reasons I guess that this is coming out is because retailers are actually sold out of this wireless headset. So this will be a refresh, I guess, with a new SKU and everything that they're going to be able to restock on their shelves and sell. But it seems it's very much the same. It will be in black as the color. I would love for them to kind of come out with a different color scheme for their headsets, kind of give you those options similar to what they do with their controllers. Of course, maybe have some different variations, some different designs. I think that would be very cool just to add on if you want to have it similar to the controller that you do have. They also say that the packaging and design difference, they say there's a good chance that these differences will be very minimal or non-existent. So basically what this refresh is the headset coming back into stock so that retailers can restock it, and there's going to be a $10 price increase. So not very exciting at all. I mean, if you it's a good headset. I have the current wireless headset and I do enjoy using it. It works seamlessly with Xbox and gives good sound and everything. I like the features of the toggles of the voice chat and the volume on each ear. So that part is cool, but you're paying $10 more now just to have it be refreshed. It's kind of what we've seen this entire generation. We talked about this a bit yesterday. It's been a very odd generation. It's something that we will look back on, and this may be a turning point as to what we can expect for the future consoles and everything that we get from each console generation. Is maybe price cuts are not a thing anymore. Maybe there's no more of this cutting the console down like $100 or $150 or whatever and getting bundles with games in it years after it has released. Maybe that is now all gone, and it's really just going to be the same pricing throughout the generation, as well as more premium pricing with something that we are seeing with the PlayStation 5 Pro. Of course, next gen is going to have huge implications on depending on what Xbox does. If they have a handheld, which will be that cheaper entry to get as many people into the generation as possible, kind of what they were trying to do with the Xbox Series S, and then having that more powerful console, and then the peripherals going along with that, I'm assuming will be fully backwards and forwards compatible. So all your Xbox Series controllers and your Xbox Series headsets and everything will be able to work on whatever they do put out. So that will be the positive of it, but just a very odd generation here with the whole pricing of everything. A lot of that probably also has to do just with the economic conditions around the world and everything that is going on there. So the headset, if you haven't picked one up, it'll be back in stock. It'll be $10 more and virtually the exact same. Hopefully this leak is a bit wrong and there are some additional features for that $10 extra. All right, this is something that Xbox continuously does, and I don't know why they do this. I wish they would just release these for the general public, but they always put out these really cool contests for Xbox Special Edition consoles. We have another one here for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And you would think with the Indiana Jones IP, it's a pretty big IP. There's lots of fans out there for it, that they would release some special edition stuff that you could just go out and purchase. Unfortunately, we haven't heard anything yet. It may still come, but as of right now, there is this special edition Series X with a really cool looking console, a really cool looking controller. I love the gold thumbsticks on it. That is going to be available via contest. It says, to celebrate the highly anticipated release of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Xbox has designed a stunning custom console and controller that pays homage to the adventurer himself. From November 12th, fans can head to the Microsoft Experience Center in London and you'll be able to see it. And then to solve the puzzle to enter the sweepstakes for a chance of winning this unique console, plus an array of other exciting prizes. And basically, in order to actually enter this is all you have to do is go to the actual event and try to solve a puzzle to win it, or you can enter via Bethesda social channels, which there will be some announcements coming up for how to do that. So stay tuned for that if you want to do it. But you can see this entire thing. I think out of everything here, I love the controller the most. Looks like there's like even like a leather looking feel to the front of it. It has like these bejeweled buttons on it. You don't even see like the ABXY, but it's just actual, the designs is super well done, super cool. And if they were to actually release these to the general public, I'm sure they would sell like hotcakes. And it's another thing when we're talking about this gen of consoles as to kind of how weird it has been. We've only had really, I would say, one real special edition console, which was the Halo Infinite. Of course, I know that they are releasing that Galaxy special edition one, and then they're releasing the Xbox Series X digital. So that's kind of the variation for Xbox, but not any game related special edition ones other than the Halo Infinite, which was a beautiful Xbox Series X. It is the Xbox Series X I have, and you would think that there would be more out there coming, especially what we saw previous generation and with the Xbox 360 and Xbox One. Like there was tons of different styles of special edition consoles, and we've had none of that this generation whatsoever. Not even really with PlayStation. I believe only the Spider-Man special edition one is the one that they have put out, and those were just interchangeable plates that you could put onto your PlayStation 5. So been a very odd generation across the board in terms of what you kind of would generally expect here from how the consoles are created, shipped, and marketed throughout the lifespan of the gen. All right, jumping over here, let's talk about Metaphor ReFantazio again, because it's continuing to sell extremely well, and it is now in the top 5 selling games on Steam globally. You can see it here sitting at number 4 behind Counter-Strike, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and Silent Hill 2. And it's very impressive. It's a brand new IP. You think of the games above it, the 3 games, all established IPs. You got Dragon Ball, Silent Hill 2, which is a remake, already has a fan base, and of course Counter-Strike 2. Then you have Metaphor coming in here, which you would think generally is for more of a niche crowd in terms of the style of games that they make, and they are taking off here with a brand new IP that I think is bringing a lot of lovers of the Atlas games to pick it up day one, and then probably a lot of new people jumping in and trying it out. Maybe it's their first style of game like this that they've ever played. One of the major reasons that I think they do a great job is they give you those large demos. Like you can play this game for like 7.5 hours before it comes out, and you're going to have people that would have never thought about playing Metaphor now deciding to pick it up. The other thing that this does show, it continues to show, I mean, this isn't surprising, but that whole narrative that was going around about them choosing Xbox to market this game was bad for Metaphor. That obviously is not the case. You're seeing it sell here on Steam. People know that the game is available on Steam. It's not an Xbox exclusive, and you're going to see this game, I think, sell very well across the consoles too. So Metaphor ReFantazio doing very well right now at launch. Will continue to do well. Obviously, a very high rated game on Metacritic, which pushes it forward. People start talking about it. You get that word of mouth. And I think one of the things that attracts people's eye to this game more so than anything is the graphics and art style, even like the menu, some of the coolest designs that we have seen. So very happy for Metaphor. This one's going right into my list of games that I absolutely have to play. So excited for everyone out there enjoying it. Okay, let's talk the next generation of NVIDIA graphics cards, because this is always something that you take a look at it, you compare it to what's out there on the market, you also compare it to the consoles right now, and then in the future generation, kind of seeing how they do stack up. You have the PS5 Pro that is releasing, and how will that stack up to what NVIDIA is releasing here with their 5000 series of cards. I won't be anywhere near it, you could assume, but very cool stuff here in terms of what we can expect here from the RTX GPU. So they will reportedly announce, NVIDIA is going to reportedly announce the RTX 5070 GPU with the 5090 and the 5080 at CES 2025 in January. And the rumored specs were leaked last month, and it sounds pretty crazy. So the RTX 5090 is expected to ship with 32 gigabytes of GDDR7 memory and a 600 watt spec. So it's going to be pulling a lot of power. This thing is going to be a massive beast. There will be nothing out there that's going to, I think, compare to it, where you're going to be getting that 4K 60 probably smooth, and it's just going to be the best place to play your games if you can afford it, and if you can have a rig that can afford to have a 5090 in it. It'll be very expensive. Then there's also the 5070, which will feature 192-bit memory bus with 12 gigabytes of GDDR7 VRAM, and they say this one has a total of 250 watts of board power spec. I mean, that's a huge difference, 600 and 250. Far more reasonable here with the RTX 5070. And then they say here that 14%, it's going to be 14% higher than the RTX 4070. And the hardware leaker Copite7 Kimi corroborated the report, suggesting that the GPU will ship with 12 gigabytes of VRAM and the 250 watts spec. So that's kind of where we are right now with those two. And then there's also the 4080, which they say is going to be more powerful than expected. The unannounced GPU will reportedly have 32 gigabits per second memory speed instead of the rumored 28, and a maximum bandwidth of 1024 gigabytes per second instead of 896. And they say that the RTX 5080 is faster and requires less power than the existing RTX 4090. So that would be a huge feat if they are actually able to hit that, and if these rumors are true. So the next gen of GPUs are coming out, and what will these be in comparative to the next generation of consoles is always a question that I have. When you think about when is Xbox putting out their biggest technical leap, what will the comparatives be on PC? I know it's always hard to compare it to PC. There's so many different things. It's not just the raw power of the GPU versus the console. The whole console thing is streamlined. It is just simple to develop for. There's not a bunch of different specs that the developers have to keep in mind, because when you're appealing to the PC market, you have to have all of the different types of rigs in mind, the minimum spec, and then obviously what the required is. So all of that goes away with the console because they know exactly what they have. But it will be interesting to see just kind of some performance comparisons when those next gen consoles do get announced and we see what's in them. It will also be interesting to see what the PS5 Pro is. We get more comparisons about that and how that stacks up to what is currently on the market, because you've seen some wild claims here about the PS5 Pro, like people saying it's like a 4090, which I don't think is true whatsoever. So we will see more about that in the next couple of years. There's always that excitement as we get closer to the end of this generation, jumping into the next one. Okay, let's talk about this. This is kind of a weird one. Nintendo is releasing an interactive sound clock, an interactive alarm clock here. Just Nintendo doing Nintendo things. I fully expect them at some point to start suing some alarm clock makers, because now they're in the alarm clock business. But we will see. They're releasing in early 2025 a $100 clock here called the Nintendo Sound Clock Alarmo, and basically it says users can snooze the alarm with gestures and end it simply by getting out of bed or by pressing the button if they prefer. An Alarmo can keep a record of the user's movements while they sleep. It will be in the US and Canada in early 2025 and costs $100 in the US. I believe it's $130 or $120 in Canada. And they say Nintendo Switch Online members in the US and Canada can purchase it online now via the My Nintendo store or in person in New York. So if you are looking to get this, I mean, this is Nintendo's take on an alarm clock. Obviously, it integrates gaming and all that stuff. And Nintendo, I mean, they are started as a toy maker. So this is kind of in that mix between toys and practical things and video games. And you can see an example as to what it has. It has the Nintendo characters that pop up. It shows you kind of how your sleep is going, and you're going to be able to just turn it off, turn it on by hitting the top or just getting out of bed. So I don't know, kind of cool. If you're a Nintendo fan, I'm sure this will appeal to you. I would potentially even get this at some point because I do like my Nintendo games. A very odd announcement, a very different announcement here that relates to video games but isn't a video game. Okay, let's jump over here to some bad news going around the industry. We have a couple of stories here. First of all, Bungie is being sued for copyright infringement. This is just another downfall, negative thing that is occurring at Bungie since that entire acquisition with Sony. It's been bad news. It's been bad news for Sony. It's been bad news for Bungie. And here we are with another thing. It says that this lawsuit was filed on October 2nd by Kelsey Martineau, and is author based out of Louisiana in the United States, saying that Destiny 2's Red War story features a number of elements from his work. And Martineau goes by the pen name Casper Cole. It says his work was published in 2013 and 2014, 3 years before the release of Destiny 2. Specifically here saying, quote, although Destiny 2 offers an immersive and thrilling gaming experience that keeps players on the edge of their seats, the game is based directly on Martineau's source work. So that is what's happening here, being sued because they believe that the Red War content is stolen, copyright infringement, right? So we will see what happens. If anything will come out of this, it's always interesting to see how these smaller players take on these major companies, and if they have any chance of beating them at court, if they have the proof and everything. or if they're just doing this with the hopes that they could find something. I mean, I haven't read through the entire claim, but this will obviously go to court and then something will come out of it, or maybe there'll be a settlement of some sort before it even gets that far. And Bungie, of course, has not commented. I'm sure they will comment at some point, or they'll have to make a decision, or something will have to happen, and we'll get more information on this lawsuit and if it is going to go any further. Now, Ubisoft, as we know, are in a world of hurt right now, and they are on the verge of being bought out. That's the rumors right now. Potentially Tencent, they go private, Tencent buys them out, and Tencent will then own the biggest publisher, I think, in Europe, and one of the biggest publishers in the gaming industry. And I think that will have a huge shockwave and change of gaming as we know it, with how big Ubisoft is, how established it is, how historic they are for gaming from everything that they have done. Whether you like them now or not, they did have a huge role and still do have a huge role in the gaming industry. But they're under some more fire here, and this one has to do with a lawsuit. They're being sued as well, and it has to do with Ubisoft Plus and the Ubisoft Store sharing user data with Meta. Now, this is what this says, and I don't think this is the first time people have been sued for this. I believe this is something that happens regularly, but still a bad look here for Ubisoft. It says, according to the complaint, players who use the Ubisoft website to buy a game on the Ubisoft Store or use it to subscribe to Ubisoft Plus are having their PII, their personally identifiable information, sent to Meta through its Pixel user tracking software. Quote here says, defendant does not disclose on the website that the PII user's personally identifying info would be captured by the Meta platforms, and tracking pixel utilized by the defendant and then transferred to Meta, thereby exposing the subscriber's personally identifiable information to any person of ordinary technical skill who received that data. And data sharing policies for a service or subscription is an important factor for individuals deciding whether to provide personal information to that service. And absolutely is. I mean, for some people, I'm not saying this is for everybody. I mean, I certainly don't, but some people actually go through and read some of that fine print stuff to make sure that if they do sign up for a service, that information is being stored there, staying there. It's not being shared around. But I mean, pretty much everything you sign up for now, it's almost impossible to keep your information only on that service. There's so much stuff. Most people's data is out there, and just kind of the way it is right now with the internet, which is unfortunate. This is something that should be identified before you are signing up for Ubisoft and using their products. They continue here to say, defendant purposely implemented and utilized the pixel, which tracks user activity on the website and discloses that information to Facebook to gather valuable marketing data. And the pixel cannot be placed on a website without steps taken directly by the defendant or on behalf of the defendant. The pixel cannot be placed on the website by Facebook without the knowledge and cooperation of the defendant. And the defendant does not seek and has not obtained consent from the personally identifiable information users to utilize the pixel to track, share, and exchange their PII with Facebook. So there it is, another bad look. And another thing that I think would potentially rally the shareholders to push Ubisoft to go private and to potentially get bought out. Whether that's going to solve all the issues or not, this will be something more ammo, I think, for shareholders to look at and say, hey, they're continuing to make bad decisions and we want a change at the company. All right, to end things off here, we'll talk about Roblox, because there is a weird situation going on here with Roblox. This isn't the first time we've heard about this. It seems like it's a pretty sketchy game with sketchy moderation and everything involved in it, especially when it comes to protecting children. It does not seem like they do a very good job. And there is another report here that is saying that they have actually increased their player numbers by as much as 42% artificially. So they've inflated it 42%. This comes via a report from Hindenburg Research claiming that Roblox has been inflating its player numbers by as much as 42% since 2021. And that this is based off of multiple interviews with Roblox employees. And they are also saying here that their moderation systems to keep children safe from adult content does not work. And basically they just kind of make it easy for children to find this stuff, even though they say they try to protect children and keep this as a safe place to play their game. I mean, I don't believe Roblox in this situation. It probably is a terrible spot, because children, they want them to keep them in the game. They want to keep those players' number up. They want to be able to report that a bunch of people are playing it, and you have kids playing this and playing it all the time. It definitely helps their financials at the end of the day. So kind of despicable stuff here by Roblox. But this is, again, a report from Hindenburg Research, and Roblox has replied in kind of saying all the stuff basically is not true. So it's kind of up to you to decide who you want to believe on this situation. One of the things when it comes to the inflating of the player numbers, they do mention that daily active users is how they log their player numbers. And this was in contention here from Hindenburg Research. And Roblox is refuting this, basically saying we define a DAU, a user who has logged in and visited Roblox through our website or application on a unique registered account on a given calendar day. If a registered logged in user visits Roblox more than once with a 24-hour period that spans 2 calendar days, that user is counted as a DAU only the first calendar days. And Hindenburg is basically saying that Roblox is counting bots as users and treating multiple accounts made by the same individuals as unique users. It further accuses Roblox of telling investors and advertisers that its daily active user figure represents unique people, while telling the SEC cannot measure the number of unique individuals on the platform. So there's a lot here, a lot to dig into if you're interested in the depths of how deep this report does go and how it affects Roblox and everything that they're doing. But Roblox has been under fire for a while, especially with the whole child safety thing. And I wonder if this is kind of just more proof here that there is a lot of nefarious stuff here going on at Roblox. I don't play the game, never touch it, never will, but we will see if any of this stuff does have an effect on Roblox itself. But I'll end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, share the video if you did enjoy it. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.